Hi everybody, my name is Olivia Gudaniec, and today we're here with the beautiful Stasey. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Caitlin is a huge inspiration to women everywhere, and she recently started a website called herself.com. So, empowering women despite race, ethnicity, height, color, all that good stuff. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the website?
Yeah, I mean, initially I started herself.com as a means of promoting a diverse imagery of women, because I feel like more often than not we're inundated with this like very typical idea, very idealistic form, and it isn't realistic. It doesn't reflect the people who are consuming that image. And yeah, I just wanted a place for women to talk about their experiences without getting negated, because across all forms of social media, women put forward their stories, or people who are marginalised put forward their stories, and they're told by various other people that they're wrong, that they're not entitled to those feelings. So I just wanted to create a space for them to be themselves, express themselves.
And you're getting a ton of varied feedback. How do you feel about all the attention, I guess?
It's been amazing. It's been incredible, because the majority of the stuff that's been said to me has all been really positive. And basically, almost not across the board, obviously there is always going to be criticism, but I would say like 90% of the articles or pieces that have been written about it have also been positive. So I think it's come at a really crucial time. I think if I'd done it about 5 years ago, it would have been a very mixed response.
Okay.
But nowadays, the criticism that I get is all incredibly, it's very easily negated, because it's things that I don't believe in, things that I'm trying to fight against anyway. So it doesn't really, like when an argument comes at you and it's not in line with any of your own beliefs, it's very easy to dismiss it. Yeah. And that's what the experience has been like.
And you're on the website yourself too, so that's so brave. I admire that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like, it's funny, right, because like I knew if I did it, it would seem quite masturbatory or quite sort of self-aggrandizing, but if I didn't do it, it was hypocritical and you know, cowardly. So I'm sort of trying to toe this fine line between being like a living example of what it is that I'm preaching, without trying to like take up too much space on that website. What I would love for herself to become eventually is something that can exist outside of my attachment to it. So it can be like its own little micro universe, and regardless of my founding it or running it, it could exist and succeed.
Well, I think you found a good balance.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I'm sure your sister looks up to you. Does she check out the website too?
Yeah, I mean, my sister is funny. She's finding her own brand of feminism nowadays, and she's coming to understand her wants and her needs. And yeah, I mean, she's super into it. My family's an incredibly like they're very, very supportive, but we're Australian, so we have a very like relaxed attitude towards success. My mum's always very hyped up about like professional success that I have, but like in terms of these sorts of things, it's always kind of like, oh, okay, cool, you did that thing, that's great. And,
nice pat on the back.
Yeah, I mean, it's very humble. I mean, your family are your biggest supporters and also your biggest critics. In this instance, they've only been supportive, and yeah, I think that like with my help, they've come to understand me better through this website as well.
Wonderful. So that's very encouraging. So Caitlin is not a new face to the acting world. I know you started when you were very young. What I want to ask about is the education process. Did you go through distant education programs, on-set tutors, and what was that experience like?
Well, when I first booked my first ever job, we had an on-set tutor. It was for a kids' TV show, and then I booked a show called Neighbours, which I did for about 4 years. And I had an on-set tutor, except she wasn't actually a qualified educator. She was a child carer. Okay. So, or she was in childcare. So my education really slipped for years, and whilst I was doing, because I was actually physically attending school and working on set, and then I just failed all of my classes because I was never there. Then started long distance, and then I just stopped doing it. So I literally dropped out of school when I was 17, which I don't endorse. I don't recommend people
go
do
to school.
That. But I mean, as it turns out, I didn't really need it. The only thing about education that I will say that I would press upon all kids, all students, is that this is the only time in your life people are going to pay for you to learn things for free. The rest of your life you're going to be spent Googling things, looking things up, or ignoring the greater world. Like, you need to find a good balance of like questioning those that are in charge of you and those that are like, you know, fueling you with this information, and also respecting that space and taking on board everything you learn. And that's the only regret that I really have from my adolescence, is that school was such a chore for me. And trust that I am so happy I don't have to go anymore. But I do wish that I'd had the gravity of it taken off my shoulders, because it's always about like, okay, you've got to do these subjects, you've got to do this standardized test, you have to then learn this because you're going to become this, and then you're going to go to university and do this. And to be honest, almost every person I know graduated with a degree they either don't use or like, well, I mean, university is a little bit different, it's more specialized, but high school, you can really do anything. Just learn as much as you can. And standardized tests aren't a reflection of your aptitude, just of your response to standardized testing.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
Okay, is there anything you want to tell audience members that they don't already know about you?
I mean, I have such like an open book policy. I suppose the only thing I would say is that like and it's not even about me, it's about how you engage with people online, is just be aware that despite the fact that there is such anonymity that comes with social media, you have an obligation to, like everyone has an obligation, I think, to treat others with dignity. And I would say just be fucking nice to each other, guys. That's all I would say. And to me, be nice to me as well. Yeah.
Good advice, good advice. So you guys are shooting a lot in Toronto. It's really cold. We have extreme cold weather alerts, so within 10 minutes you could get frostbite, which happened to me.
Yeah.
So how do you focus on your lines when it's so cold?
It's, you know, it's
And staying in character.
It's funny because there have been maybe 1 or 2 days where acting has literally become, and a lot of people will tell you this, has become very secondary to just getting your dialogue out and being able to get back inside again. And that's why I'm always curious as to why TV shows want to shoot outdoors, because while it's conducive to a beautiful aesthetic, it's not the best acting. You don't really have to do ADR for it, which is like you redo your dialogue again in the studio.
Yeah, just in case the lines get fumbled or there's some background noise.
Which there always is. And you know, we have an incredible crew. Like I've never been so fond of or so, you know, impressed by like the durability of a crew before, and also the kindness of a crew before. So I just have to say that like they're amazing, and witnessing what they have to go through on a daily basis just makes me feel like I have nothing worth complaining about. Because although like I have 5 seconds where I'm in front of the camera and I might be colder than anyone else there, it's also for like the most succinct amount of time. So
because you're able to go into a warm shuttle, or
my days are also shorter too. Like I have, you know, I mean, unless you're working in every scene the whole day, my days can be like 8 hours, or they could be 6 hours, they could be 1 hour, and I don't think there are any crew members that also get the benefit of that.
Very true. Very
like
true.
that's what whenever you're watching TV, just think about the many, many faces you don't see.
Hundreds of people.
And how hard they're working.
For sure. And if there was another job you could do on set, what would it be and why?
I mean, after having said all that, I would love to be a DOP, I think. I'd love to be a director. I don't know that I have the patience or the diplomacy to be either of those things. I'm also not incredibly good at problem solving. I think I would love to be a director if I could only deal with actors. If I didn't have to deal with any camera stuff or any lighting or anything like that, if I could just tell an actor what I thought they should do, then that would be a great gig for me. But within this industry and outside of set life, I think that I would really love to. I'd love to do casting. I think casting would be really fun. That's
I think
not
so
my type
too.
job. Yeah. But you know, of course, with every job you have, there are pitfalls and
pros and cons.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Caitlin.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks.